Some stories, they aren't just stories. They're experiences. You don't just read them, you survive them. Algernon Blackwood's The Willows is one of those. It's less of a story and more of a contamination of the mind. So today, we're not just going to recap the plot. No way. We are going to perform an anatomy of pure atmospheric dread. Let's get started.
And right from the jump, Blackwood gives us the key. The whole nightmare hinges on this one single powerful idea: trespassing. You've got these two adventurers in a canoe. They think they're just exploring the Danube, but right away, one of them feels it. That gut feeling. They've crossed a line they didn't even know was there. They've stumbled into a place where they are not welcome. And the warnings? They're everywhere, but they aren't written in any language we'd understand.
Okay, so let's talk about the setting. At first, everything seems, beautiful, almost like a paradise. But it's a trick. The Danube River isn't just a river. The narrator calls it a great personage. Think about that for a second. It's alive. It has a personality. It has moods. One minute it's playful, the next it's furious. And this is so important to get right away. In this story, nature isn't just scenery. It's a character, and it's a powerful one. So where does this living river take them? To this place. A place that's basically just a smudge on a map. We're talking miles and miles from anything. No towns, no people, nothing. Just sand, water, and the Willows. And I want you to get this picture in your head. They're not tall, majestic trees. They're bushes. A sea of them stretching as far as you can see, all moving and rustling together like one giant creature. You can just feel the isolation, right? It's absolute. And this is where it really begins. The second their canoe touches sand on this little island in the middle of this willowy sea, bam, the feeling hits. And it's not a rational fear, The narrator, he's no rookie. He's an experienced outdoorsman. But this is different. It's this deep, sinking feeling in his gut that he just can't explain. He's surrounded by this wild beauty, but all he can feel is that something is just terribly, terribly wrong. What's so crucial is how he pinpoints the source of this feeling. It's not the roaring river, which is powerful enough to be terrifying. It's not the howling wind. No, it's the willows. The endless, countless, whispering willows. He feels like they're watching him, and he gets the sense that they represent some other kind of power. A power that is, and this is the chilling part, not altogether friendly to us. Now, Blackwood does something really brilliant here. He contrasts this feeling with the normal ways we feel awe in nature. You stand at the base of a mountain or the edge of the ocean, and you feel small, but it's also grand. This is not that. This feeling doesn't make you feel grand. It attacks you. It besieges your heart. It's the feeling you get when you realize you've wandered into an alien world, a world with its own rules, and a world that really, really resents you for being there. So that vague sense of unease, it doesn't stay vague for long. Pretty soon, just weird things start to happen, things they can't possibly explain. And each one is like a little crack forming in the foundation of their reality. Their whole sense of what's normal, what's safe, it just starts to crumble piece by piece. And it escalates fast. First, they see this thing in the water. They think it's a body, a drowned man. But it's an otter that stares at them with these bizarre yellow eyes before it just vanishes. Then they see another person, the first human being they've seen. But this guy, this boatman, he doesn't wave hello. He starts shouting and frantically making the sign of the cross, like they're the devil incarnate. And then reality just shatters completely. The narrator wakes up and sees things, huge, fluid, bronze-colored shapes just pouring out of the willows and rising up into the night sky, beings that are not from our world. And this is the moment of horrifying clarity. This isn't just some spooky island they've landed on. It's so much worse. They are the problem. Their presence, their trespassing, it's like they kicked a cosmic hornet's nest. They've stirred something up, something ancient and powerful that was perfectly happy until they arrived. Suddenly, they're not just observers anymore. They're the trigger. Okay, so this is where things take a really dark turn, because it's not just about weird feelings and strange visions anymore. Now it's physical. It's a direct assault. Whatever is on this island isn't just watching them anymore. It's actively and intelligently trying to make sure they never, ever leave. And just look how smart it is. This is what's so terrifying. Their steering paddle, gone. Vanishes into thin air. Then a hole appears in their canoe, and it's not a jagged tear from a rock. It's a fine, clean slice. But the worst part, the absolute coldest, most calculated part, their last remaining paddle. It's been shaved down so thin it's guaranteed to snap the second they put any real pressure on it. This isn't random. This is sabotage. This is an intelligence at work, and it is not friendly. As if that wasn't enough, as the next night closes in, a new kind of horror starts. This time, it's a sound, a low, persistent humming noise, a metallic humming. It's everywhere. It feels like it's coming from the air, from under the water, from inside their own skulls. The narrator describes it like a huge, muffled gong being struck far, far away, maybe in another reality altogether. The narrator's companion, the Swede, he has a theory about this sound, and it is absolutely bone-chilling. He says it's not a natural sound. It's outside of humanity. It's the sound of that other place, that other dimension, bleeding through the thin veil into ours. And what's the source? What's the amplifier for this dimensional sound? It's the Willows. The Willows themselves are humming. They are vibrating with the power of whatever it is that wants them gone. Meanwhile, the physical attacks are getting bolder. Their food starts to vanish, right out of a closed sack. Their oatmeal supply is getting smaller and smaller. And then there's this. All over the island's sand, these weird, perfectly formed, funnel-shaped hollows start appearing. Dozens of them. It's like something invisible is pressing down on the very earth, all around them, leaving its mark. So you have all this pressure just building and building, the psychological games, that constant maddening humming, the physical sabotage. It is all leading to this, the breaking point. The unseen forces are done playing games. They're about to make a direct, physical move designed to absolutely shatter what's left of these men's sanity. They're huddled by their little fire, trying to stay safe, and then they see it, out there, in the willows, a shape. It's dark, it's massive, and it is moving toward them. But what is it? It's not a single creature. It's described as being like a bunch of animals all clumped together, or like smoke coiling and uncoiling on itself. Just seeing it, just being in its presence freezes them in place with a kind of fear so profound it's a physical force. At this point, it is just too much. The Swede, he breaks. He's completely convinced that these powers demand a sacrifice, and he tries to give himself to the river, to just let it take him. The narrator manages to save him, but as the Swede collapses on the sand, he utters these words, a frantic, insane prophecy. Their ordeal is over because someone or something else has just paid the price. So the climax of pure fear is over, but the story isn't. Now we get to the end, the quiet, grim, and just horrifying conclusion. They've survived the night, but now they are about to discover the terrible truth behind the Swede's words. A new day dawns, and it's quiet. The humming is gone. That horrible, crushing feeling of being watched has vanished. The terrifying atmosphere has lifted. For the first time, the island feels normal, peaceful even. Can you imagine the relief? It feels like the nightmare is finally over. But it's a lie, a false dawn that makes what comes next 1,000,000 times worse. And then they see it, washed up on the shore. The victim, a drowned man swept in by the flood. At first glance, you might think, what a tragic accident. But they know better. This is the confirmation of the Swedes' desperate hope, that the forces of the island found their sacrifice. But believe me, the horror is not over. As they reach down to touch the body, the nightmare comes rushing back. The humming explodes, but this time it erupts from the corpse itself. A huge wave of sound just rushes up from the body into the sky. It's as if they've just interrupted something, as if they've disturbed invisible creatures in the middle of their work. And here it is, the story's final, devastating punchline. They turn the body over, and its skin is covered in them. The same beautifully formed, funnel-shaped hollows they found in the sand. Physical, undeniable proof of the otherworldly attack. This is what those creatures do. This is the price of their survival, their awful mark. And then, to just twist the knife, the river's current takes the mutilated body, and as it tumbles away in the waves, it looks, for all the world, like an otter. The story comes full circle in the most sickening way possible. That first strange omen connects directly to this ultimate horror, confirming that from the very second they arrived, they were being watched, tested, and hunted.
The Willows leaves us with this terrifying thought. It suggests that our world, our reality, is just one thin layer among many, and that there are places where that layer wears thin, places where beings of immense power exist who aren't evil but simply alien and indifferent. And if you are unlucky enough to trespass there, you might just become a brief, tragic curiosity in a world that never knew or cared that you existed at all.